Minister now. And call upon Deputy Kevin Humphreys, the ongoing uncertainty in relation to the Poolbeg waste to energy incinerator Dublin. So, your 4 minutes.
Thank you, Clara. Can I thank the Minister for taking the debate, coming into the chamber himself to listen. I'm fully aware, Minister, this is not of your making. This dates back to Minister Dick Roche that signed the contract as he was running out of office in the previous government and left the shambles to be dealt with by others. Minister, on the 29th of February 2012, Dublin local authorities and Covanta reached an agreement on a revised commercial arrangement for the Poolbeg Incinerator, with a final extension to the end of August. We are told this would be its third and final extension. In June, Covanta's Chief Financial Officer, speaking at a JP Morgan conference in the US, said it was proving difficult to raise the necessary capital to fund the Poolbeg Incinerator. On the 31st of August, the contract for the Poolbeg Incinerator with Covanta expired, Minister. There is no sign that Covanta has been able to raise the money to construct it. It has been made clear by yourself, Minister, that the regulations in the waste market will be not rejigged to make the incinerator commercially viable by trying to give the council control over waste collected by private companies. It is now 15 years since the incinerator at Poolbeg was first proposed, and it's cost 91 million so far. That's taxpayers' money. That's you and me and every working citizen that has paid their taxes. The original contract to build a 600,000 tonne incinerator, which was far too big for our current and future use. It was also located in the wrong place and a peninsula in the centre of Dublin City, one road in, one road out. The saga has created, I believe, massive uncertainty in the market. Waste companies have been holding back on investment that will allow us to meet our recycling and recovering targets. Those investments would create sustainable jobs. And Minister, I believe even some of our semi-state companies have put on hold investment into the recycling and reuse industry, waiting to see what would happen to this oversized proposal of an incinerator. When you look at the cost of the Poolbeg so far, 52 million was spent on land alone, and 32 million was given to consultants, which is still registering up and ticking up as a cost to taxpayers. In a report this month to Dublin City Council, the City Manager, on behalf of the Regional Authority, felt it reasonable to consider a further extension. I believe the facts I've just outlined leads to a totally different conclusion. I believe, Minister, it's time for you to intervene. As a matter of fact, I believe it's past the time to intervene. I know you may say you have no direct powers in this, but this is taxpayers' and ratepayers' money that has been continuously wasted. It is money that could be started to be invested in the recycling and reuse industry, and we're still waiting for a decision whether Covanta can get the necessary money. I don't believe that that money can be raised, and I believe we will see endless extensions and uncertainty in this matter. Minister, it's a mess. I believe it's a mess that you didn't make. I believe you have the skills and the determination to intervene and resolve it. We need a sustainable waste industry, and this 600,000 tonne monster will destroy that industry. Minister, I ask you now to take a direct role in this, to step in where previous ministers have failed to do so. And I think you have the skills and the tenacity to actually intervene in this and resolve this long-running saga. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy. Now, Minister of Environment Phil Hogan.
I'm worried when the Deputy say that I have to intervene in something. The Poolbeg project, as Deputy Humphreys has indicated, is provided for in the Dublin Regional Waste Management Plan, for which the 4 local authorities have statutory responsibility under the Waste Management Acts. And the facility is being advanced by Dublin City Council, albeit with the caveats that the Deputy has outlined in conjunction with Covanta Energy and Dong Energy. The project received planning approval as far back as November 2007 and a waste licence in December 2008 from the EPA. And as the Deputy Humphreys has indicated, 600,000 tonnes is the capacity. The position is that in accordance with the provisions of the Waste Management Act, the preparation and adoption of a waste management plan is the statutory responsibility of the local authority. And under section 60, paragraph 3 of the Act, the Minister is precluded from exercising any power of control in relation to the performance by a local authority, in particular circumstances, of a statutory function vested in it. As Deputy Humphreys would be aware, my predecessor appointed Mr John Hennessy to have a look at this particular contract under section 224 of the Local Government Act 2001 to examine the potential financial risks associated with the Poolbeg project within a given set of scenarios. As consideration of that report had not been complete when it came into office, it fell to me to consider the report's findings. In June 2011, I published a report prepared by Mr Hennessy in order to ensure that as much information as possible is available to the public, while respecting the confidential nature of certain information provided by Mr Hennessy in the course of his work. The report was therefore redacted to protect the commercial sensitive information. At the time of publication, I indicated that much had changed since the report was commissioned. There would be further changes as I finalised the new waste policy. Mr Hennessy provided a very good report, but he was working within a set of scenarios which had been narrowly defined for him, and this somewhat restricted the applicability of the report. So, having consulted my government colleagues, I concluded there was no national waste policy justification for intervening in the matter. Now, the position remains that decisions in relation to the Poolbeg project are a matter for the two parties concerned. I understand that the parties are in a period of review and that an update was provided to Dublin City Council earlier this month. Queries concerning the status of discussions, therefore, in the contract terms and costs of the project are not a matter for me at this stage, and notwithstanding what Deputy Humphreys has said about the amount of money that has been spent on the project today. My role at this stage is to provide certainty in terms of waste policy, which I've done, and I will provide an update on the recent publication of the new national later on. But I can assure Deputy Humphreys that investment in all methodologies and technologies is difficult to finance and is not readily available for any project. And the state, through the local authority system, is not in a particularly healthy state financially either to intervene, to provide the necessary interventions in relation to waste policy either. So I think that we need to give certainty. I agree with you. We need to get it sooner rather than later. I'm disappointed it has taken so long in order to, one way or the other, come to a conclusion of this contractual obligation that Dublin City Council and Covanta are involved in. And I will be monitoring the situation very closely over the coming weeks to see is there any hope of coming to a conclusion. And at the end of the year, perhaps I will review the matter.
Thank you, Minister. Now, Deputy.
Minister, I thank you for your response, and could I advise you that I think required viewing for yourself might be to look at the Public Accounts Committee when the officials were up and being questioned on the cost and the methodology that has been carried out as far as this particular incinerator. I'd like to point in fairness, I think my colleague Owen Murphy done an excellent job in highlighting the facts and the issues in relation to that in the Public Accounts Committee. And I know you're quite busy, but I do recommend at some stage to have a look at the transcripts. And I know, Minister, you're extremely busy, and in sometimes these briefs are prepared for you. I would ask you just to take a step back, to have a look at what went on at the Public Accounts Committee, and there is, as you said rightly, a need for certainty in the waste management. I think, 15 years this was looked at and planned for. It's outdated. We really don't need to. Look, can I just go back and tell you, we're told in March, third time the extension, third extension would be the final granted to Covanta. Look, let's face it, enough. We're now on the fourth. The cost alone of this project demands that it's ended. The Dublin Regional Authority went all out on a bet, and the bet didn't work. It's going to cost us hundreds of millions of euros if we continue with this. It's not of your making, Minister. This dates back to Dick Roach. I think you have to intervene or review sooner rather than later. We're not generating anywhere near the amount of waste we used to, and our recycling has been growing sharply. We're up to 40% nationwide. We are not in any danger of missing the EU landfill directives. And as the recent EPA report showed, we met our targets 2 years ago for waste diversion from landfill, and the data indicates we'll meet the 2013 as well. The project is out of date, out of time, and it's time, I believe, that you need to act. I know, look, let's face it, this is hundreds of millions of euros we haven't got. I believe it's time to cut and run. Covanta can't deliver the funding. We have an opportunity with the break in the contract when they've failed to deliver on their timescale and on their dates. Let's take the uncertainty out of this system. Let people that are on, and you know as well as I do, that there is companies on the sideline ready and prepared to step into the situation and develop the recycling and reuse energy. Even one of our own semi-state companies have a planning permission on hold, waiting to see what's going to happen with this incinerator. Since this has been proposed, we've 900,000 tonnes of waste going to landfill that can be composted, and we're talking about an incinerator. An investment would be far better into the composting element of it. Minister, it's running 15 years, and this is actually running since 1999 in one form or another. It has created a massive uncertainty in the area, even for investment into further development. I know, strictly speaking, but it really has come to time to knock heads together. It's time to come up with a new plan. If we keep on harping back that you can't intervene, and Minister Corbyn said it before, Minister Rhodes said I signed a contract and I left. The ball has been passed to you. I'm asking you not to drop it. Take on the vested interests and stop this contract from going ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Minister. 2 minutes.
The difficulty we have is that we have a contractual obligation which provides legal obligations on the state presently. And, we have to be extremely careful in the manner in which we deal with these issues, or otherwise we're going to expose the state even further for infrastructure that was contracted but not delivered. So all I can do at the moment as Minister for the Environment is to outline what the waste management, what the waste policy of the country is. I've done that with my colleagues in government, where we were trying to move away completely from landfill. We are not entirely sure we will meet our landfill obligations in 2014-15. We certainly have difficulties there, depending on the economic growth and depends on the type of investment we have in infrastructure in providing alternatives to landfill. So I do accept what you're saying, that if we don't get certainty on this particular project zone, we're not going to be waiting around forever for the purpose of providing alternatives. We have to meet our objectives and our obligations that are laid down in our targets that are set by the EU in conjunction with ourselves. I hope that we are in a position to get some information in the very near future about the company involved, Covanta and Dublin City Council, whether they're in a position to proceed or not. And I am prepared to, in the next few weeks, have a look at this situation very carefully and to ascertain from the contracting parties whether they're in a position to proceed or not. I can't say what the alternatives are at this stage until I see what the future holds for this particular contractual obligation that we have. But I agree with Deputy Humphreys that we need to have certainty sooner or later. I need to have certainty in order to ensure that I can move on to alternative methodologies of dealing with our waste if this particular option is closed to us.
Thank you, Minister. That brings the topical issues to a close.